Today we'll be working on section 4.5, which is to graph using slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b is the equation that you will be using. Y and x will be in your equation as variables. M and b will have numbers substituted in for them. M is your slope and b is your y-intercept. The slope is always in front of the x, and the y-intercept is always your constant that's being added or subtracted. Let's identify the slope and the y-intercept of the line with a given equation. We have y equals 5x minus 4. Remember, we said that the number in front of the x term is your slope, so that coefficient, m equals 5, that is your slope. Then the constant, the negative 4, is your y-intercept, so we say b is equal to a negative 4. On the second equation, you have y equals 10 minus 4x. Don't let it fool you that the x term and the constant term are flipped around. The slope is still the coefficient of the x term, and so we have m equals negative 4, and the y-intercept will have b equals positive 10. On our third equation, it is not in slope-intercept form, and you need to put it in slope-intercept form first. So we need to solve the equation for y. It will look like y equals negative 9x plus 8. Then the coefficient on the x term will be your slope, m equals negative 9, and your constant term will be your y-intercept, b is equal to 8. We are going to graph using slope-intercept. If your equation is not in slope-intercept form, you need to rewrite it into slope-intercept form. That means y equals everything else on the other side. Once that is taken care of, you can identify the slope and the y-intercept. You can plot your point, that is your y-intercept. And you can use slope to locate a second point on the line, and then you draw a line through those 2 points. Let's do the equation y equals negative 7x plus 2. Your slope and your y-intercept, when you look at this equation is already in slope-intercept form. So we have slope is negative 7 and y-intercept is 2. Graph your y-intercept, 2 on the y-axis. Then we will find another point using slope. Now, negative 7 is our slope, so we can go down 7. Negative 7 tells us to go down, and that's over 1, so we go to the right 1, and we'll put a point down there. We could also go up 7 and to the left 1. That would be 7 over a negative 1. Same thing, and we put a point up there and draw our line through it, and our line goes through all 3 points. Please notice with a negative slope, one of the 2 directions has to be a negative direction, either down and then to the right, or up and then to the left. One of the two movements must be in a negative direction. Let's graph y equals 5 halves x plus 4. Notice that our slope is a positive 5 over 2, and our y-intercept is 4. We're going to graph the y-intercept, which will get us a positive 4 on the y-axis. And then our slope, we can either go up 5 and to the right 2, notice they're both positive, or they can both be negative, meaning that we'll go down 5 and to the left 2. And then we will draw our line through those points. You can either go up and to the right or down and to the left. With a positive slope, either both have to be in a positive direction or both have to be in a negative direction. Parallel lines. 2 lines are parallel if the lines do not intersect and if their slopes are equal. I have 3 lines drawn on the coordinate plane. We're going to determine whether line A, B, and C, which one is parallel to each other. We need to look at the slopes of these lines. First of all, look at the slope of the line with the red dot. That's line A. The slope of that line is m equal to 5. Next, we'll look at the slope of line B, the line with the black dot. And the slope of that line is equal to 6. And our last line is line C with the green dot. And the slope of that line is equal to 6 as well. Looking at our three slopes, we know that lines B and C have the same slope, and so therefore we say that B is parallel to C. Notice the little train tracks that are between B and C. That's how we show parallel in math. So if B is parallel to C, make sure that's how you write the parallel symbol, please. Tell whether the graphs of the two equations are parallel lines. We're not going to graph these. We are just going to look at the equations. The first equation is already in slope-intercept form. The second equation is not, and we need to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So that will be y equals 3 plus 8x. Now, we have m is equal to 8 on both of the equations, and therefore we can say the lines are parallel because they have the same slope. Let's look at these two equations that you have x plus y equals 5. That's not in slope-intercept form. It needs to be rewritten into slope-intercept first. That would be y equals negative x plus 5. The other equation, negative 6 plus 2x equals y, is already in slope-intercept form. Don't be fooled that the y is on the right-hand side. That's okay. Notice that the slope of the first equation is a negative 1, and the slope of the second equation is 2. And so these lines are not parallel because their slopes are different. Story problem time. A family of squirrels takes up residence in the roof of your house. You call a company to get rid of the squirrels. The company traps the squirrels and then releases them in a wooded area. And the company charges $30 to drop off the traps and then charges $15 for each squirrel it traps. The total cost, C, in money, is given by the equation C equals 30 plus 15s, where S is the number of squirrels that are taken away. We're going to graph the equation. Okay, first of all, we have to come up with our slope and our y-intercept. Our slope is 15, our y-intercept is 30. So we will plot the y-intercept on our graph. 30 goes on the y-axis, that is our money, and our slope is 15, so that tells us that we have to go up 15 and to the right 1. Notice how the graph is labeled. It's going by 1s on the x-axis, but by 10s on the y-axis. So we're going to go up 15 to the right 1, up 15 to the right 1, up 15 to the right 1, up 15 to the right 1. We can draw our ray through that. Notice that is a ray. We're not going to draw a line because we don't have negative money or negative number of squirrels. Suppose the company raises its fee to $18 per squirrel. Then we have an equation that's C equals 30 plus 18s. Now let's graph this equation in the same coordinate plane. Notice that our y-intercept is still 30, but our slope this time is 18. As we start graphing the slope, it's going to go up 18 to the right 1, up 18 to the right 1, up 18 to the right 1. You can see the red line being drawn there, and then we draw our line through that, and you can see that the line is above the first line that we drew. They have the same y-intercept, but their slopes are different from each other. One has a slope of 15, one has a slope of 18. How much more does it cost for 4 trapped squirrels? Well, if you look there, we have one of the, our first line we drew for 4 squirrels is at $90, and then our second line is at $102. It actually goes right off of our graph. We need to subtract 102 minus 90, and that will give us $12 that it costs that much more for the 4 trapped squirrels on the second plan than on the first plan. That's the end of graphing with slope-intercept form. Be careful, and please use a straight edge as you are drawing your line. Thank you.